Hello, it's Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and Bitcoin recovered some of the losses from last week. We were down a little bit today, but we've been hovering between 29 and just below 30K. Let's go to the chart. Okay, you should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Can I get an amen? I got it from Peter. Thank you. Okay, as you can see, we had this drop last week, and we've recovered most of that. We're still about 2 to 3% short. And we're just down a little bit today, less than 0.5% on Bitcoin. Ethereum hasn't recovered as well. Bitcoin has been one of the top performing assets this week. Ethereum has been lagging behind. There was some fake news we talked a little bit about on Monday, had something to do with Mt. Gox and a warning from some third party information source a lot of people use. The name escapes me at the moment, but anyway, Bitcoin came back and all seems to be well. We're bouncing back up towards 30K. I'm very curious to see what happens this weekend. I'll be setting a few shorts anyway because we are towards the top of the range. I've got my range set at 32K. Some people are setting this at 30. I thought it was a short squeeze. What happened on Wednesday that leverage positions cranked up to 30K, and that's where people's stop losses were, and so they just liquidated. But it went down farther than it should have, so perhaps I was misinformed about that, but anyway, we'll see. Okay, we've got some background noise.
Once you softened off these onions, in my head, I'm thinking, right, I want to make a really rich kind of indulgent sauce, but I don't want to put loads of cream in it. I'm going to use a little bit of flour.
David, you're loud.
Oh, it's David. Okay. I've got to unshare before I can mute him. All right. All right, there he goes. I'll be better prepared for that next time. And everyone's muted except Craig. Can't hear any background noises from Craig, so we'll leave him alone for the moment. Go back to my share screen and Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yes.
Any other comments, questions, queries, speculations about the market overall before we talk about Altcoin Alert and potential day trades? All right, let's get to it. I'm on Altcoin Alert, the altcoin radar, and I'm going to reload or refresh, then sort by the AA score. Nano, it seems, has been on the top of this forever. But that one's difficult to find. I believe it's only traded on a DeFi platform and a DEX of some kind. Render, I like. I've been trading this one with some frequency, so let's look at that one. I've got the chart up. Let's go to 5 minutes, see if we have any developments. This was almost a dip sequence here late in the morning, but we don't have that now. It's hanging around the SMA line, one of my least favorite places to enter a trade. 4.6% between the Bollinger Bands, pretty good. There's room for movement. We were pumping more confidently. This could be a good entry for a squeeze trade, but I don't like it at the moment. If you want to do a price alert, I see support here right around 234. You can do that. The right click, add alert. I'd probably round it down to 234. And then I would call this an AA score purchase alert. And you're good to go. But if you've been with me very long, you know that I prefer 15-minute charts and indicator alerts on those. 3 setups I've been using lately: Divergence, the SuperTrend, and the RSI. So let's talk about those 3 approaches. We'll start with Divergence, which is a disagreement between the candle action and the indicators. So we have bearish divergence when the candles are going up, but the indicator is pointing down. In this particular indicator is a divergence for many indicators, version 4. It's one of my favorites, and it's also alert friendly. However, it does repaint, so you have to keep that in mind. Which is why I have the second one, multiple divergences, non-repainting. This one is less alert friendly though, but between the two, I can usually find a good divergence entry. On the 15-minute chart, let's look at past divergence triggers. Looks like these bearish ones did pretty well. I mostly trade on leverage exchanges, going for 1% on the chart at 10x leverage, so 10% move total. And these bullish divergences look good. Most of the bearish ones do as well. You know, they're moving more than 1%, each one of them. Not sure about this one here. Yeah, it just does squeak in there. So looks like each one of these does well. This bullish one, yep, get 1% on that one too. So render is a good looking setup for those who like to trade divergence. And to recap how you set an alert, right click on divergence indicator. If you're trading spot, you want to go with positive divergence, once per bar close, and then this would be my AA score purchase. Let's see, did I do this one yet? Yeah, I already have these alerts set. So if you want to trade both directions, positive and negative, then you'll have to set a separate alert, do the same thing we just did, but you choose negative divergence instead. And make sure you have your sound set up correctly. I like to notify on my app and on the pop-up on my home computer screen, desktop, and it plays the sound. For my most basic alerts, I use the 3 notes reverb. I use some of these other ones for usually things I'm testing. Okay, so that's the divergence approach. If you want to trade with the trend is your friend, you can go with SuperTrend. A divergence is a contrarian strategy. We're trying to usually find a retrace after a dip. SuperTrend, we're just going to go with an established trend. With divergence, there'll be more alerts. With SuperTrend, there'll be fewer alerts, but they tend to be more accurate. What I usually do, if you've been on these Zooms, is I look for what's worked recently in the last few days. And so on divergence, all these have worked really well, but we've only had 3 since Wednesday afternoon. So in the last 2 days, we've had 3 alerts, but all of them did really well. The sell alert dropped about 3 or 4%, actually 7%. And then this buy, you know, almost 10%, and sell, another big drop. So, and these are also alert friendly, this particular super trend. Oh, quick note, I do have an adjustment. I dropped the ATR period from 10 to 5. I just find it's more accurate. Alert on super trend. If you're trading spot, you want the buy option. If you're trading over the weekend and you're on leverage, you might want to go with the sell. Prices tend to drop over the weekend. I like the direction change. That way I can trade both directions. Once per bar close and AA score, and you're good to go. But I'm going to stick with my divergence alerts on this one. And the last one I like is this RSI. I'm looking for drops below the 30 value, which is considered oversold, and then a retrace coming back up. Or a pump above 70, and then dipping back. So let me turn off super trend. Going back to Wednesday, we have a pump over the 70 value, and then a drop right about here. So that would have been the entry. It would have gone up at first and then had a nice drop here. So that would have been a successful trade. And this may have triggered on the 30. Might bump this one up to 31. I'll show you that alert in a minute. And this would have been the entry. And again, a 4% move, that's really good. The next cross, this one's pretty close, around 68. But had you had that alert going, again, nice drop here over 2%. And this drop here would have been a little more dramatic. Probably triggers here. Maybe you get out with that 1% move. Otherwise, you're going to have a ride up here and then a drop. But again, profitable trade. This entry obviously would have been better right up here. And then we have another entry here and does really well. So little dip and then big pump. Actually, I should have used my vertical line to illustrate these a little better. So that's the most recent break of the line. Here's another one. And there's another drop. And this one as well. That one would take you for a ride, and then the others look pretty good. So on this one, here's how you do the alert if you want to use the RSI approach. Add alert on RSI with a right click. We're going to enter a channel. So 70 at the top, 30 at the bottom. Play with these a little bit. One of these didn't quite make it. Maybe I go for 68, 31. I was doing some of these earlier in the week with some success. Once per bar close, that's going to be AA score purchase. Notifications stay the same. So any questions on render or the three approaches I just went over and or the alerts? Okay, let's do another sort, see what else we can find. All right, let's reload. Shall I look for another AA score? I like 80 or better, but we don't really have that at the moment. We're close with some 79s and some 78s. Yeah, we're starting to fall off at this point. So there are other sorts I like as well. Social activity, where I'm looking to get fire or a thumbs up, matching up with trading activity, fire or thumbs up. Social activity is what people are talking about on Twitter. And we've got lots of fire and lots of poop. We've got render again with double fire. And eternity, I'm not familiar with that one. Crow and alpha. I was looking at alpha earlier. Pretty good AA score, thumbs up on the social, fire on the trading. Let's check it out. Okay, in the 5-minute chart. Very squeezy at the moment. Yeah, not much room for movement there. So I do see support around 12 cents, maybe 11.9. So this could be a decent place for a price alert. On the 15-minute chart with our indicators, divergence doesn't look that good. Yeah, this one's terrible. Yeah, these all would have been losses probably. And yeah, 20% against you. That's not good. So divergence is not looking good on the short side on this one. So I'm going to bail on that one. SuperTrend looks really good. That sell did great. This buy did as well. The sell not as good, but good enough. Almost a 2% move. So with my approach, I would have been out. And it catches this buy. Hasn't had a trigger since Thursday in the wee hours of the morning. So, a day and a half. That's a downside of SuperTrend. Doesn't fire that much. So that looks pretty good though. Then for our RSI, so go with the vertical line. It would have put us in that long, which is a good one. Maybe this one too, if we have a, say a 33 or lower for our entry on the bottom of the channel. And then we have a dip below the 70 value right about here. I'm not sure about that one. I think you're going to end up stuck. Yeah. Goes up 10%. You'd still be in that trade. And these others are slightly better entries, but not profitable yet. So those three approaches, the one I like the best is the super trend on alpha. Okay. Any questions on what we just went over? Okay, let's look at another sort. So that was social activity, done an AA score already. Let's check the 1 hour projected range. Yeah, not good at all. This one tends to be better earlier in the week. I'm looking for about 3% or more in the average, and we're not even close. So I'm going to bail on that one. Another one I like is the long-term sentiment. It's a more precise version of what we just looked at, the social activity and the trading activity. Long-term sentiment's more Twitter data. And then we have the elder impulse that I like to match it up with, and that's a technical indicator or combination of them. So I usually sort which one of these has the lowest number on the long side. And we looked at render already. Crow, crypto.com just crept in here. All right, let's look at that one. Okay, starting to bubble out, but on the high side, still only 1.3% between the Bollinger Bands. Not much movement. Do have short-term support here at about 7.6 cents. That could be a good place for a price alert. On the 15 with indicators, let's check out divergence. They look pretty good. This one would have required some massaging. Gets close to 1%, then shoots up. So you're probably ladder buying in here on the short side. Maybe you get out around here. First position would be a small loss, then your second and third positions would be pretty decent profit on that particular one. The other short looks really good. This one, you'd probably still be in this long. Yeah, you'd still be in that one. This one you'd be out of potentially if you're looking for 1 or 2%. See, I've not set alerts on this one yet. I'll keep that in mind. Let me check the other ones first. Super trend looks pretty good. %4 move down. This is obviously a big move up. And the sell looks pretty good too. Yeah, almost 2% down. So super trend looks good, but again, only 3 triggers since Wednesday afternoon. Then lastly, the RSI. Let's look at the vertical lines. Entry here on the long side looks good. Entry here on the short side looks maybe good, depending on where you get in. We get in right around here. Yeah, 1.45%, pretty good. And another entry here. You're gonna go up here and then drop. So you're probably ladder buying, but still profitable. This entry, nice trend down. That's a good one. And this entry here for the RSI is probably still be in that trade. Yeah, maybe out with 1%. So RSI and SuperTrend look the best. Divergence had one really bad, one bad alert. Otherwise, it looked pretty good too. So I think I'd probably go with SuperTrend on this one because it's the weekend. I'm a little lazy. So again, on this one, we're gonna right click. I'm gonna go with direction change. And this one was a long-term sentiment buy, once per direction or once per bar close, and I am good to go. Any questions on crypto.com? Okay, we will do one more. We're zipping along because you guys aren't talking, but that's okay. Let's refresh. And the next one I like to use is the 24-hour change. You don't necessarily need Altcoin Alert for this. You can do this on many free sources like, CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, things like that. So the big pump was these three coins I haven't heard of. STMX, I've traded that before. We talked about Alpha. ICP is one I was looking at earlier. This is one I like to short. Okay, so we'll look at it for both directions, and then we'll do one of these sorts for the purposes of shorting. Okay, ICP at the moment. Bollinger Bands. Got a little room to move, but we're towards the top. Got some support here right around 588. That could be a good price alert. 592. Say around 590 would be the average of those two support areas. On the 15-minute. Divergence. I don't know about this. You might get out that one. Each one of the, yeah, this one's not going to get you out. So that would have been bad. Maybe after multiple ladder buys, you get out here, but I'm not sure. Not liking that. And this one's suspicious as well. So I'm not liking divergence on this. And I like shorting ICP. Let's look at the super trend. Yeah, even this one. Yeah, that's a loss. So super trend's not very good either on this one, on the short side anyway. It looks good on the long side. On RSI, that's a good entry on the long side. On the short side, kind of depends when you get in. Yeah, that's not going to be good. So shorting anywhere here is going to throw you into this pump, and it's not going to work out. These are better entries. Obviously, this makes a move up and then drops again. This one as well. See, when does this one cross? Sometimes if I like if I like an evaluation and the trade that would have gone against me is at 3 in the morning or something, I'll think, okay, that's likely to happen then, not when I'm awake and actually trading. But that's a little superstitious. Okay, so it looks like none of these are perfect in their recent moves. So if you do trade this one, I mean, the bullish moves were all good, but a couple bearish moves were not. So you might just want to go bullish on this one if you're going to trade it. Okay, any questions on ICP? We'll look at one more, and we'll knock off for the week. Okay, let's look for
Yeah, CJ, I'm sorry about that. I do have a little question. Do you ever zoom out off of the 15-minute to look to see? I mean, it's obvious right here that this is an uptrend, but do you ever look back farther than that, like at an hour, 2 hours or something, to
Yeah,
see
and if
to verify
you
a
ever
day?
sure. Usually when I look at it in the morning when I'm setting these up, I might look at that to get a feel for what the trend is. But even on the
Okay.
15-minute chart, it's giving me a couple days of information. So
Well,
today's
yeah,
Friday, and this is going back to Wednesday. And yeah, you're right. It's
right.
obviously in an uptrend.
Okay.
And
I was just curious.
Yeah, and I'm a contrarian trader in many ways, but so it took some changing of the mind, so to speak, to add SuperTrend because I've always traded dips and retraces. So now that I have both of these on my chart and use both of them, that's my approach on trend trading. It's but I agree with you. It's easy to look at this and say it's trending up, then maybe use a SuperTrend or some other similar trend-based
Right.
indicator to help you with those alerts. So yeah, it's a good point. Okay, let's move on to see if we can find a weekend short. Of course, we have talked about short approaches on some of pretty much all the coins we've looked at already. So you could just choose one of those, but I'm going to specifically short or look at Altcoin Alert and sort it for a short. First one I like to do is, gotta refresh. Sort this backwards, the AA score. But I find this isn't productive very often, so I don't use this one as much. Social activity. Sometimes there isn't enough, so you have to scroll down. Now we're getting poop and poop on mask. And this one I've been shorting throughout the week, based on these sorts, so and done really well with them. So let's check out mask. I think this is a good candidate for our weekend short. Okay, so instead of a 1, 2, 3 dip, we're looking for a 1, 2, 3 pump. We don't really have that right now. Just trending up a little bit and starting to squeeze. Kind of squeezy, but not too bad. 2.5% between the Bollinger Bands on the 5-minute. That's on the 15. My bad. Let's look at the 5. Yeah, 1.3, kind of squeezy. Instead of support, we're looking for resistance. It's sort of stair-stepping. Gone through that resistance. Here's some resistance around 472. Again up here between about 476 and 478. So those could be places for price alerts. For indicators, the shorts on mask have done pretty well. This one, maybe you ladder buy once and then it goes your way, or if you just wait, you're probably out of this with 1 or 2%. Takes most of the day. That's a pretty good day trade. Same setup with this one. And I'm leaning towards that as my approach. Super trend. A little busier than usual. There's my 1%. There's my one, not quite. Get it right about here. And it makes a big move off that one as well. Super trend's not bad. Then on RSI, there's really only one entry. It's this one from Thursday morning, and that does have a nice move, but otherwise there's no entries since Wednesday, so that's not enough for me. So based on those three approaches, I'm going to go with divergence. Right click, I'm gonna leave negative there, once per bar close. And this was social activity. Notifications, I'll give it a different, since I'm looking for a short on this one, let's go with chirpy. All right. Any questions for on our weekend short? All right. Well, then any questions on overall day trading, Altcoin Alert, the markets, anything like that? All right, then I'll wrap it up here. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Hope to see you live next time. Check out the opportunities listed in the pinned comment. They help support the channel. If you're a Carbon member, we do have that Zoom coming up in 25 minutes, but there's a couple things to go over before then, so I'm going to do a short little Carbon Zoom after this. And for
CJ,
those of you, go ahead, Craig.
just for the I don't know if you want to mention it here, but the Bybit issue is actually relevant for everyone. That issue, so you might want to mention something about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to do the next Zoom. So I'll put it there. I thought about it, but not everyone on this Zoom, trades on Bybit. Actually, a lot of people in CryptNation do not. So I think I'll go ahead and keep that on the next Zoom. But I appreciate the suggestion. All right, guys, I'll be right back.